If there's little gentle breeze, it just the water droplets will just dissipate into the atmosphere, and you're going to be okay.
Good to know.
Masks are probably a good thing.
Good.
And not so much to prevent you from ever getting it, and that's something else that I think I need to discuss. Everybody eventually is going to get this. This virus will never go away, and it will only mutate. It's a COVID virus. And people think that a vaccine is going to be their savior. That will not be the case.
Why?
I promise you, I guarantee it.
Why?
The reason for it is because COVID viruses, and we know that this virus probably originated in animals, in this case bats. And the reason bats are discussed quite a bit in association with this type of virus is because bats and viruses kind of made friends with each other, billions of years ago, millions of years ago, I should say. And so viruses don't really affect bats very much. And the importance there is that a virus can get into a bat and it can mutate. It just stays there and it incubates, and then eventually it mutates enough that it can jump to humans. And as such, we know that COVID viruses, not just this COVID virus, but any COVID virus, which is like a common cold. The common cold is a COVID virus. So we know a lot about COVID viruses. It's not a foreign type of virus. This particular virus mutated, it incubated in bats for probably a decade. Who knows? We don't know how long. Probably years, so that it mutated significantly enough that it's more novel. And that's the real key on this virus. It's a more novel virus, so our immune system isn't as used to it. And so there isn't as much cross-reactivity to other cold viruses to this COVID virus. And so our immune system mounts a stronger response. If you have a good immune system, it can cause extra inflammation, and it's the inflammation that ends up actually killing people if it overdoes it. But the key that I'm trying to mention, and why this virus isn't going away, is because it can jump from animals to people and from people to animals, and you can't vaccinate all animals, not certainly wild animals. And so this virus will just stay in animals that are not vaccinated, and it will jump back to people.
But will it get weaker? Will it get stronger? Will we always have these shutdowns? What will happen?
Well, and that's the key. It'll probably get stronger. Just like, and the vaccine itself will actually make it stronger. Just like antibiotics make bacteria stronger. It's not going to wipe it out. And if it doesn't wipe it out, that which survives is going to be evolving such that it can bypass whatever it is that the vaccine stimulates. For instance,
then what will happen? Will it wipe out mankind? What will happen?
No, it won't wipe out mankind. What will happen is what happens with every type of epidemic like this, is that people's immune system will ultimately fight it and conquer it. Every breath you take right now, you're breathing in thousands and thousands of different viruses. Most of the time, the vast majority of the time, you never know it. You never catch it. Your immune system is always working overtime.
I hear you.
Fighting these things. Ultimately, our own immune system will become adept at recognizing and fighting this virus. So the key here...
And when it does, hold on, what about polio? Did our immune system get rid of polio?
Well, no, not necessarily. But the problem is with polio, it doesn't incubate in people.
Oh.
So things like smallpox and polio and any of the type of viruses that we've been able to control, it's because they are almost strictly human.
Oh, they don't incubate in animals, you mean? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so a vaccine can be much more effective if you vaccinate enough people. But if you look at how many animals there are in the world, you're not going to vaccinate those animals. And so there will always be a reservoir of this virus that is not going to get vaccinated, and it will, again, make the jump from animals to people. It will happen.
So are you saying the vaccine going to help?
Well, that's a good question. For instance, the flu vaccine. The flu vaccine is not a COVID virus. It's similar, but also harbors in animals And that's why we've not been able to get rid of the flu vaccine. That's why we've not been able to make a vaccine to the cold virus. They're all COVID vaccines and the cold viruses that can incubate in animals. So anything that incubates in animals, vaccines are really fairly ineffective. The flu vaccine, let's take a look at that. We know we have 15 years of data on the flu vaccine. The flu vaccine, according to the Centers for Disease Control website itself, has not saved a single life. What it does is it cuts down the length of time that a person has mild symptoms. That's what it's effective for. The data that's coming out on the vaccine for the COVID-19, like let's say the Pfizer and the Moderna data, number one, it's on very few people. They say, well, it's on 40,000 people. No, it was not on 40,000 people. It took 40,000 people to get 100 people that contracted COVID so they can compare the placebo to the virus. It was really only on 100 people. And what they found when they say 90% effective, you have to understand, this is all marketing BS. They're pulling the wool over people's eyes. When they say 95% effective. 95% effective at what? At reducing deaths? No, it didn't reduce a single death. We have no idea because no one died in the study. And so we have no idea if it reduces deaths. It didn't reduce any serious symptoms. The 95% effectiveness was, again, like the flu vaccine in reducing sniffles and coughs. Minor. They set the bar really low. They wanted to show effectiveness because they're going to make $1 trillion on this thing. I don't know about $1 trillion, but hundreds of billions.
All right, hold on, Ron. I want to come right back to you. Hold on. Just hang in there. We'll come right back.
You know where you were when the Golden State Killer was arrested. You're a moderator on the Zodiac Killer subreddit.
Mark, who is it? Enter Solve, the hit podcast that puts you at the center of the investigation. Solve is like murder mystery podcast. You'll track down killers hiding in plain sight. You all right?
Yeah.
Then take a few.
Raymond, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not like this. To listen to Solve, download the free iHeartRadio app or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, I got to tell you about Paragon Services. I'll make this so simple. If your insurance company, your homeowner's company, or even if you have a commercial building or something, but any kind of property insurance, if they aren't doing the right thing, you call Matt at Paragon. He's going to help you get the claim done. I'm going to give you a great example. It's probably my favorite example. Our homeowner's insurance told us we had no hail damage, but all of our neighbors were getting brand new roofs. I called Matt at Paragon, and I kid you not, you ready for this? $65,000 is what our homeowners ended up paying out to Suzanne and myself. I'm going to give you the phone number, but remember this. Any issues with your homeowner's insurance, if they're not paying, and they can go back up to a year, here's the number, 719-726-0020. He works the entire Front Range. 719-726-0020.
Rates are like a roller coaster lately.
I know, I had to do it.
About the future and how to protect your home? Do you want to become mortgage safe? Take AIM, affordable interest. Home value is still at their highest level ever.
Back in the groove, girly.
Now would be the best time to be prepared if the economy changes.
Hopefully Dan gets his shit.
Where is Deacon? Why hasn't he been on?
720.
He has been.
Oh, has he been on? Somebody, Jazz mentioned, she's like, where's Dan? And I said, oh, he's doing remotely. She goes, oh, that must be why it's a little staticky.
Yeah, we're working on the sound.
To give you peace of mind and allow you to focus on what's important. Your family. Call
Somehow
Affordable Interest Mortgage at 720-895-0500. That's
like
720-895-0500.
20 minutes ago.
The whole video?
Yeah.
We're not live now?
We are now. He had to re-bring it up, but I don't know why he, I don't know what he did. Somehow he accidentally killed it. I think he was trying to close one screen and close another. I don't know.
It's all about you.
Daniel.
What do you think of this? What, Rosedale's saying?
That's a little weird. I have some questions like, does this mean our pets can get it? Is that what he's saying?
That was exactly
and
what I was going to say.
Is this the only virus that's transmissible between humans and pets, or are there other viruses?
The flu.
I didn't know that.
All these ones we can't eradicate, like the common cold and the flu.
Yeah.
They go between animals. Do I have a spot?
No, I don't think so. He said that was it.
United Vein Centers, America's top vein care center.
So I wonder about our own animals, if like, you know,
I don't know. I was going to ask him that because it doesn't affect them, but they could pass it on to a human, I think is what he's saying. But I don't know if he means like bats. I don't know if he means like a dog. I think he means more of wild animals.
It was interesting what he's saying.
Can you imagine one dog? You know, Suzanne and I had the same question. Think of this. So we had it. Did we possibly give it to our fucking dog, and then if you come over and you kiss my dog, you can get it? Or is he saying just stuff like bats?
I don't know. That's the part I don't understand.
Because that would be really fucked up.
Most important, it works. Think about it.
And here's the other question. I thought the vaccine, if you get the vaccine, it tricks your body into thinking you have it, you create the antibodies. What's the difference between those antibodies
and a
mine?
vaccine? Yeah.
I mean, mine are super strong, terrific, natural.
Healthy life.
But, you know.
Symptoms like frequent gastric pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
Notice one thing I'm doing that I don't normally do.
Listen. It's fucking nuts, though, what he's saying. I mean, I believe it, but it's kind of...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's kind of scary. He really made the comment, the vaccine is going to make this stronger.
That makes me nervous.
I wonder if that variant they're talking about, that's 7-8 times more or 70% more contagious, has to do with
the
vaccines and stuff.
No, the vaccine has to do with it.
Yeah, you're right. It's too new. Yeah. Or is that just the nature of the virus learning how to multiply and be better? Be better at being a virus. That's kind of some scary shit, man.
So don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker.
And I didn't realize polio and this other shit wasn't transferred through animals like you're saying. I had no idea.
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Research Raccoon is the easy and affordable way to get smarter about your customers.
So basically what he's saying is everybody's going to fucking get this.
New products, but don't even know what questions to ask. Research Raccoon can pull U.S.-based customers that day, giving you clean data to help you decide. No matter the size of your business, Research Raccoon gives you the tools to...
And then he made the comment, it was in a bat forever. Is he saying that that's where the Chinese got it, in that lab?
Research Raccoon.
I don't want to get into that because that's different, but is that really what he's saying?
Doesn't matter.
It came from there. So they didn't bake this thing in the oven. They did it. Oh, I see what you're saying. They got it and modified it.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world...
When you think this is where warfare is going, honest to God, isn't this where warfare is? Somehow you make your population safe to it, and then you fucking unleash it.
Denver's talk station, online at khout.com.
I'm not going to waste a lot of time with introductions again, but Dr. Rob, I've known for 40 years. He has a vast amount of medical knowledge. He's never been wrong in predicting the low-carb thing, the paleo thing, all of this.
Disease of inflammation. You can Google him. I just want to talk to him. He did say we're never going to get rid of COVID because every day there's COVID all around us, but this COVID is particularly strong, I think, because it's hurting people, at least certain people. And he says vaccines will make a virus stronger. It'll become stronger. It'll always be with us. But Ron, here's what I have to ask you. If it's going to get stronger, does that mean it gets more deadly? Because right now, it doesn't kill many people. And now, for those listening, I'm not talking about the death toll. Of course, the death toll is terrible. But I'm talking about percentages of people who get it do not die. But will that percentage go up? Will it become more deadly? Is that what you're saying?
Or more contagious?
How do you mean it gets stronger? Let me bring them up. There you are, Ron. Sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, it can become more contagious, and that's apparently what's happening to the new variants that are happening right now. It has to be recognized also that this virus mutates. All viruses mutate, and because it's mutating, a vaccine is basically trying to shoot a moving target even though the gun is fixed. So the vaccine is against the virus as it was 6 months ago or a year ago.
Right.
And the virus that we have today is going to be different than the virus.
And that's why we have to get yearly flu shots, right?
Exactly. And again, the flu shot, though, is for the a backdated virus.
Right.
And so that's why it's not so effective, unfortunately. And so I don't expect that this particular vaccine is going to be much better than the flu shots, and the flu shot really has not been all that effective. And that's because this virus is mutating, and again, you're shooting at a moving target, and that's why we have to count on our own immune system. The ideal situation, and what people should really be going after, is not total sterility. That's what I worry about, as people trying to avoid everybody and trying to remain sterile so they don't catch any viruses. That actually ends up weakening your immune system. You have to constantly prime your immune system. They've shown, for instance, that those people who had the common cold a month or two before contracting COVID had a much easier time with COVID-19. That's because their immune system was kind of pumped up. You have to exercise it. And so total sterility would just weaken your immune system. I really worry about that. So the ideal situation is that you would get little tiny exposures of different viruses, different COVID viruses, different cold viruses, even COVID-19, little tiny exposures, such that your immune system becomes more accustomed to it and builds up antibodies and primes the so-called killer cells that can kill the virus, so that when you do get the inevitable larger exposure, you might not even know it. Your immune system will fight it. They've shown this over and over and over again, that when you try and remain sterile, you weaken your own immune system.
Then the government is doing it, though, because they say the death toll. They keep talking about the death toll. And again, I don't want to try to, I know I won't influence what you say, so it doesn't matter. I'm not asking you to agree with me, but I always thought the total shutdowns were ridiculous anyway, and what we should be doing is protecting the high-risk people. I mean, it's pretty logical.
100%, I 100% agree with that. That's exactly what should have happened.
Because then those like Mark and Suzanne who got sick, listen, they were sick, but so what? They were sick and they got better. I mean, and now, here's the other thing. We get this controversy. Can you get it again? People are saying, oh, yes, I got it 3 times. I mean, can you get COVID-19 again?
Yes. We can, only because it's not the same COVID-19.
Okay.
It might be COVID-20.
A different strain.
The virus keeps evolving and changing, and when it evolves enough so that your own immune system doesn't recognize it as well, then you get it again. So you're not really getting it again, you're getting
another one.
Similar virus again.
But hold on then. So what I want to know is this. Will we have to have yearly vaccines, technically, to be effective against COVID-19? Or is this more of a political thing? I mean, I want to know, is the world going to have to worry about outbreaks all the time now? Are we going to, Bill Gates is already saying we're not ready for the next one. I mean, it's like they're fear-mongering. I don't know where we go with this. Is it medical? Is it political? Or is it real? Is it not? Ron, where does it go?
It's both. I think a lot of this is being done for political expediency, and I really hate to say this, but do not underestimate the backwardness. I really have to say the ignorance of standard medicine. A lot of it is just stupidity. That they don't really follow actual science.
So is it okay? Is it serious, Ron? I want to ask you.
We already said almost everybody's going to get it.
So what would you do if you were king? I'm serious, Ron. What would you do?
If I were king, I would do exactly what you said. Is do not lock down. Be careful. You don't want big exposures right now, because the superpower of this virus is that it's novel. It mutated a longer time. Our immune system is not as used to it, so it has kind of a stronger response.
We're actually prolonging it with these shutdowns.
Absolutely, and making it stronger. The more you prolong it, the more it mutates, and the more it can learn how to bypass basically our immune response.
So if we social distance or wear masks and sanitary, wash our hands, protect those at high risk, we will eventually circulate this thing enough to where our immune system can take care of it.
Exactly. That's what happens with every infection, with every epidemic.
Why doesn't Fauci say that?
He's old school.
I don't know. And obviously, he's politically connected also. So the political motivations of this, I I don't know if there is ignorance involved, if there's money involved, probably a combination of both. I think, Fauci could be a very good man, but I think a lot of his recommendations are not proper.
They're not science. And you mentioned something when people say follow the science. A lot of times they're talking about junk science. But you used that term with me years ago. But Ron, I have to ask you something. You said the novel thing about this is that it goes back and forth from animals to people. When you said animals, do you mean just bats? Or are you saying that animals can carry this in the future?
No, animals carry it, and they can get it too. Bats are particularly important because viruses and bats have come to coexist with one another, I guess, because bats have such large populations, so they've evolved sort of an immunity to viruses in general, and so viruses can incubate in bats and change. And
can I catch it from a dog, Doc? Can I catch it from a dog?
You can.
Okay, see, that's crazy.
Yes, you can catch it from your pets, and your pets are not going to get vaccinated.
So our entire family had it, and if Tom came over, we got 3
and I have come over,
and he's hugging on the new puppy and stuff. You're saying he could literally get it from my German Shepherd?
Yes.
And I've been pissing all over him. And Ron, thanks to you, by the way, I'm not going to say I'm not going to get sick. I'll never say that, and I don't want to get sick. But man, thanks to you, I think I have a humming immune system. I've been exposed so many times I can't even tell you. Now again, I don't want people taking this as bragging, and I want you to know I take all precautions. I do not want to get sick. I don't know how hard it would hit me, but again, we're going to talk about why it's hitting so many people hard. I mean, not so many, but a small percentage very hard. Any questions for Ron, get them in. 303-713-TALK. We have, and I should say, Dr. Rosedale, I don't want to be disrespectful. This man is, trust me, he's a scientist. More coming up.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Tom Martino. Now, Michael Brown at 6:30.
Denver.
Get some others.
Now, Impact Traffic. This report is sponsored by Compact.
Now that we're back
From the Red Sports Traffic Center, it's a nice quiet drive around the metro area right now. Traffic flowing freely on all the highways. A couple of accidents off freeway, one on northbound University at Cherry Creek South Drive. Also crash at 74th and Dahlia, but for the most part, you shouldn't have any problem getting wherever you might be headed. Your forecast for today, mostly sunny this afternoon, a high in the mid-50s. We'll cool off to the low 30s.
Hey, they gave me my own number, by the way. That was a step forward. You're 53 on 52.
On Wednesday. It's 56
on
right now in
cars,
Denver.
it's my
Your
iHeart number.
Impact Traffic and Weather. I'm Janine.
Before it would be under you.
VK Howe.
It's all right, Mark. Here you go. 888 heat 10 seconds. They're still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift and provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
Listen, if you got something going on with your furnace, right, tell you about 888heating.com. These guys have been on a referral list for many, many, many years. What I love, and I want to get this through your head, are the choices they give you. They're going to give you everything from the Band-Aid fix. If that's all you can afford, they want your heat working for you. They'll also give you options if you want on replacing your unit. What I love about that is they got furnaces that fit virtually every budget. They got economical units that virtually anybody can afford, all the way up to high-efficiency units with variable speeds and fans that are super quiet. You just got to call these guys. Choices, choices, choices. An honest company that gives you the choice. 720-927-6888 or check them out at 888heating.com.
Are you tracking the data impacting your business? Both employees
Yep.
connected to your network. Whether
There you go, Tom. About 20 seconds.
adding protection in the office or helping you learn more about customer behavior.
I like you, man.
Business
Blake.
Solutions has the technology to capture the data and show you.
You did a great job for me.
To accelerate
Are you
your
done with it?
business, we can get you
well,
connected
no.
better. Call us at 866-233-5705 for a complimentary assessment or visit businesssolutions.com.
MileHighEstatePlanning.com. Blake Harris. We're going to him personally, and I know that Mark is going to him, and everyone I know. All you have to do is ask him first. You ask questions, free consultation. He charges by what he does for you in a flat rate. He doesn't nickel and dime you. It's a wonderful process. Everyone needs an estate plan, whether you're young, just starting out. I mean, you have to have medical directives. What about, if you're incapacitated? Whatever it is you need, Blake Harris can handle it. 833-ASK-BLAKE. Protect your legacy at milehighEstatePlanning.com. That's 833-ASK-BLAKE. Some people need a simple will. Other people want to set up a trust. Or you may have an immediate need. Someone just died, you're facing probate, or you want to avoid probate. Whatever it is, you can call them right away. 833-ASK-BLAKE. milehighEstatePlanning.com. Attorney Blake Harris. He has 5-star Google reviews only. People love him. He'll make appointments any way you want and feel safe. 833-ASK-BLAKE. milehighEstatePlanning.com.
Your timeshare sits empty. Travel restrictions and quarantine is the new normal. Over and over you have heard, we are all in this together. Meanwhile, your timeshare sits empty and useless. Month after month, your timeshare company demands your maintenance.
Dr. Rosedale's holding in line 3 has a question for him. It's Deputy Doc who has a question for him.
Start the freedom process. Let Timeshare Freedom Group free you from your overpriced, unavailable timeshare. Thousands have done it. Now it's your turn. The leaders in the industry, Timeshare Freedom Group, has decades of experience canceling.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how the one's interesting.
Legally and permanently. We're so good at it, we even offer a 100% money-back guarantee. You can keep wasting your money or dump your timeshare in 2020. Start the freedom process. Call Timeshare Freedom Group now because you have better things to do with your money. 855-48-CANCEL. That's 855-48-CANCEL. 855-48-CANCEL.
Timeshare Freedom Group, we set you free. There is no magic wand that will take us back to what feels normal. Montage Ridge has created a community for the present time, full of safety measures and evolving guidelines to meet the moment, but also full of vitality and fun. You can live your best life at Montage Ridge Senior Living right now. They offer studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments located in a charming neighborhood. Call 303-237-5700 or visit montageridge.com.
Have you still not refinanced your mortgage? Well, soon you might be kicking yourself in the head. Rates are at historic lows, so take advantage of our new Fast Track loan with an unbelievable low rate of 2.25 rate APR with no closing costs on a 15-year fixed loan. That's right, no points, no fees. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial, a trusted lender for over 20 years. Even if you refinance in the last year, we can still probably save you money. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how you can save up to thousands of dollars a year. This amazing 2.25 rate APR won't last long, and our new Fast Track loan process can get it done in record time. So call today, 844-425-3669. That's 844-425-39.
What do we got?
It's no brainer in the history of
I don't know. So you're going to tell me something.
844-425-3669. Unless 3304. Not all of them by equal housing lender. Rate subject to change.
Hi, it's Mandy Call. Join my friends Gary Bell and Brad Pollock for the Bell and Pollock Legal Show right here on KHOW every Saturday morning at 7. It's a
I have no idea.
Coloradans like you.
I don't think did I do the show the day before break? I don't know. Just some caller is asking for something. I think we both did it. I don't recall just. I think he was here. Just bring him up.
2 to 4. The Situation with Michael Brown.
Hey everybody, Michael Brown here. Everybody have a very Merry Christmas. Have a happy and prosperous New Year. Enjoy the programs while we're on vacation. And we'll talk to you on January 4th.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com for real estate. If you want to sell real estate, you want to buy real estate, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. If you want a free market valuation, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622, the best of the best. Okay, so Dr. Ron Rosedale is with us, and I'm going to get right to it. He is, let's put it this way, a researcher, a doctor who studies metabolism more than anything, and over the years has been accurate on every call he's ever made over 40 years I've known him. He was doing low carb and paleo, or what they call paleo and all of that, way before they did keto. And I just don't want to spend too much time on that, except to say I never talked to him about viruses. He's very logical. In essence, he says viruses are always with us. The thing that makes this different is it mutates to animals and back to people, and that because of that, no one vaccine will ever do away with it, and because it'll go and get stronger. He also said that a vaccine might help a little, but the bottom line is it's best to just get little doses of viruses all the time and build up our immune system. That's why the human race is not wiped out. That's not without risk, but it happens, and that's why he said if he was king, he would protect those who are really at risk of dying, and then let everyone else go about their life in a not an open, unobstructed way, but in a logical way for small doses, washing hands, maybe even face masks and some social distancing. But what he is saying is, don't go crazy. When you shut everything down and keep kids and people home, it weakens their immune system, and it doesn't help. It keeps the virus alive longer. So it'll always be with us, Ron. So I have to ask you, Doc, what about the death rate versus the death toll? Yes, we have a lot of people dying, but is it still true? Do you see this as a danger? I see it as a danger because I'm 67, but I don't think it's a danger to my kids. They had it. They hardly felt anything. So, how do you feel about this? Are we overreacting as a whole society or what?
Yes and yes. Yes, we are overreacting, and yes, it is dangerous, but all viruses are dangerous. The reason this is dangerous is, as I mentioned, it's a little bit more novel, and our immune system isn't used to it. So, the death rate itself in most countries is actually going down. The problem is that so many people are getting exposed very quickly, and in vast numbers, and it's overwhelming hospitals for those who need it. So, as you said, we really need to protect those at highest risk, which mainly are going to be the elderly. Now, why are the elderly so at risk of dying? And the reason is because their immune system is poor. Just part and parcel of aging is that your immune system weakens. It doesn't become as strong. It's not as accurate, so people get autoimmune diseases and things like that. And the problem there is that the vaccine will be least effective in those people also, because the vaccine counts on stimulating the immune system and causing an immune response to whatever it is they're vaccinating you with. And the elderly do not mount as accurate and as strong an immune response to the vaccine any more than they would the virus. And so the elderly are least helped by a vaccine, and they're the ones that need it the most. And that's why the death rate for the flu vaccine is not reduced. So that's a major problem with the vaccine. It helps those people who need it the least, basically, and those people who really wouldn't have a problem in the first place. And they probably have more problem with the vaccine, which causes many people a lot of fatigue, fever, chills. They have more symptoms to the vaccine, the vast majority of people, than they would to the virus itself. One reason is because the virus enters the nose and respiratory mucosa, which produces an antibody called IgA, which primes the immune system. And when you inject the antigen in the vaccine, you bypass the first line of defense against respiratory viruses. And so that's one problem.
Now, Doc, in almost every case, listen, we have had people who are either old or infirmed. They either are obese or they have some underlying conditions that complicate COVID in almost every case. However, whenever I say that, I will inevitably get an email about someone who was 40 in perfect health and it killed him, or 35 in perfect health. They're outliers. They're people that defy statistics. Do you have any reason? I don't know. Why does that happen?
Well, it happens probably for a couple of reasons. One is everything is statistics. There's no 100%. Everything is gray. So there could be a perfect storm. They might have stubbed their toe. They might have a tooth infection. Things that we don't really know that have compromised your immune system. They might have high leptin. I do want to make clear the importance between leptin and the immune system. Leptin is a hormone. We've talked about it on your show on a number of occasions. it's associated with obesity. Almost all of these people have leptin resistance, but leptin is also intimately involved in the immune system. So if your leptin is high, if you've got leptin resistance, your immune system is weak. We know that, for instance, natural killer cells, which are among the first line of defense against any infection, and including, we know, to COVID-19, those cells become leptin resistant, and they do not work as well when a person has high leptin. And so if you've eaten a high carbohydrate meal that day and you raise your leptin, you raise your insulin, you've weakened your immune system that day. So there's a lot you can do just by proper diet.
How do you lower your leptin?
You lower your leptin, and this is, again, I studied insulin, you mentioned 40 years ago. How did I come up with a low-carbohydrate diet? And it was not a high-protein diet. There were like 2 or 3 people in the world that were also recommending a low-carbohydrate diet, who I didn't know at the time. We met later, but they were recommending a high-protein diet, but I knew that wouldn't work either. So I was probably the first person to recommend a high-fat, low-carb, moderate protein diet.
Right.
The reason for that was to, at that time, control insulin. We didn't know about leptin at the time, and then leptin I started studying. And the way you lower it is by that diet.
Okay.
Low carb and protein cause a stimulation in insulin, cause a stimulation in leptin. They rise, and if you keep on causing leptin and insulin to peak, to be secreted, your cells become desensitized. Like being in a smelly room, you can't smell it. Pretty soon your cells can't smell leptin, they can't smell insulin, but that includes your immune system. And we know now that leptin is intimately involved in proper immune response. So when you're constantly raising leptin, and when you become leptin resistant, your immune system becomes weak.
All right, I got to take another break. I want you to hang on to say some parting words, and then we'll get Deputy Doc's question off the air and see if I can sneak it in. We're running out of time. We got to get Ron on again sometime, and I'm going to edit this down and post it. This is a wonderful interview. We have more coming right up.
Now, Impact Traffic. This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
From the Betfred Sports Traffic Center, pretty quiet on your drive around the metro area right now. The highway drive in good shape. Just a little bit of volume slowing on westbound 270 at Vasquez.
Off freeway, the intersection of 74th and Dahlia is closed because of a serious accident. That closure is expected to last for a couple of hours. And there's a crash in Louisville, just north of the Boulder Turnpike at Cherry and McCaslin. Your forecast for today, mostly sunny this afternoon. Will cool off to the low 30s overnight tonight. Mostly sunny tomorrow for your Tuesday with a high in the low 50s.
Well, think about it, man. It's beat through their head,
it's
the other
57
message.
right now in Denver. With your Impact Traffic and Weather, I'm Janine LaRose, 630 KHOW.
It's a new year, but for kids and... All right, here we go. 10 seconds, Colorado Pain Care Home. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
You know, I hate to admit this, but I was in a pain cycle years ago. It got me into trouble, and I took painkillers, and I don't take them now. I can't stand them. But I'm saying Colorado Pain Care, they understand your struggle. You don't have to accept pain. I didn't accept pain. You don't have to accept it. There are so many different modalities they can do. Physical therapy, massage, acupuncture, emotional therapy. They have interventional procedures like epidural steroid injections, nerve blocks, radio frequency nerve control, nerve and spinal cord stimulators. So many things that can help you. They're on the cutting edge of regenerative options like PRP and stem cells with proven results. And yes, if you need medication, their goal is to get you off it, but they can help manage that too. 303-GOT-PAIN, Colorado Pain Care, a whole body approach to pain. 303-GOT-PAIN. I urge you to call these guys. These are wonderful doctors. ColoradoPainCare.com, 303-GOT-PAIN.
Home investors?
And guess what? You want to sell your home? You don't have to sell your home the conventional way, although there's nothing wrong with it. I love the real estate people we have, but what if you just want to get a bid and get out of there? You don't want to fix up the house. You don't even want to show it. Home investors might be for you. You'll never know unless you call. They'll give you a bid and get you a check in a few days. Just call them, 800-44-BUYER. Listen, a lot of people have homes. They want to sell as is. They just want to get out. You can too. 800-44-BUYER.
UFOs to government conspiracies.
You eat dark chocolate.
The world is full of the stuff they don't want you to know. Here's where it gets crazy. If you found a GPS device,
what is it? A continuating virus?
No, you put it on another vehicle. That's obvious. Each episode dives deep into the world's strangest topics, from hidden history to the bleeding edges of science and beyond. Listen to Stuff They Don't Want You to Know on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors, and even replacement windows and doors.
Is he talking about the vaccine?
That's done right. Hi, I'm Todd Chiquini. You know, my dad started making that pledge in the radio when I was no more than 12 years old. He's taught me all my working life that what we do is not rocket.
Letting you guys know you're going to come back with 35 seconds.
Pledge to be true.
How's that possible?
Chiquini. Todd's totally correct. We know that you want a quality job at a fair price. You want good
I thought we were at
service.
58.
You want honesty. You want to feel comfortable. And you simply want...
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
That's what I want too. And Dad, I know that's why we've done our best over the years.
Dad?
They're one.
Hey, Dad.
Go 3722-2295, 800-362-8370, or drhi.com.
Are you suffering from leg pain, aching, swelling, cramps, restless legs? 1 in 5 people lives with a number of pain issues, and that's a lot more common than you think. The doctors at United Vein Centers
Yeah, he didn't say anything. We think it's dangerous. I mean, he doesn't take. I don't think he said anything weird at all. In fact, he changed my mind a little on stuff. Yeah, that one lady called up, pissed off that you said that you couldn't get it twice.
Well, he said it's a different strain.
Well, yeah, well, it's totally different, just like the flu.
Research Raccoon can answer any question.
But there's not enough strains now for someone to get it twice 6 months ago.
Small tweak on a proven winner. Research Raccoon gives you U.S.-based data you can put to use.
Are you going to do vaccine?
Plus, it's affordable enough for small businesses.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I feel pretty fucking good, man, knowing I had it and fought it off. I mean, I don't know.
Visit researchraccoon.com.
I'm positive that I've had insurance.
Boy, you had to.
Any question?
Just die.
It's totally normal to be constipated
was
with belly pain
your
and
kids.
bloating again and again.
Especially my kids that weekend. They got
You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives to help relieve belly pain.
So I had Rob
have
flying.
more frequent and complete bowel motion.
Oh, I forgot about Rob. There's another one.
Do not give to children less than 6, and it should not be
You know,
given to
that's
kids
exactly
less than
right.
18.
It's such a mind
Do not
fuck,
take
man.
Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help.
It'd be funny if you got it. None of this hype's been about it. Like if you're one of the first to get it before shutdowns and hype, would you even think twice about it? I don't think you'd think twice about it. But they terrified the shit out of you. So, like me, when I did test positive, I'm like, what the fuck?
See if you're eligible to pay as little as $30 for 90 days. Visit Linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZES.
Yeah, but I don't recall any time where they mind fucked people or something like this.
What water pressure? Unexpectedly.
Yeah, shutdowns. I mean,
failure due to old
schools, everything. It's just a massive mind fuck, man. Remember, like 7 months ago, like let's say June. You know, you think if you get it, you're gonna fucking die the way they were talking. Oh my God, it was horrible, man. I remember flying back from Vegas. I was like, I thought I was gonna fucking die. I guaranteed my blood pressure was elevated. Every did get it.
You got 12 chances today. Every weekend, listen at 5 past 8.
Yeah, of course, because you don't know what to expect.
Sponsored by on 630 K.
When it's done, yeah, but I mean, it's still, like I said, it's such a mind fuck. If you can take the mind fuck out of it, I don't think it would be nearly, your brain just fucks with you. I've never had anything like that.
We're just running out of time.
Listen, parting words, please. We only have a few seconds, and then I want to get you back on again. I think you're saying it's serious. We have to use common sense when we deal with it. What else?
Well, several things. Take vitamin D. vitamin D is important for the immune system. You probably do better for yourself taking vitamin D than the vaccine. And everything that you can do to enhance your immune response, and diet plays a huge role. Eat properly. Eat what they're calling the ketogenic diet. My diet.
What's the website we can find out? Do you have Ron Rosedale up again? Rosedale. What's the website?
I think it's still up.
Okay, no, I bet you it's ronrosedale.com.
Dr. Rosedale. Yeah, Dr. Rosedale.
Dr. Rosedale, ROSEDALE.com. Yes, it is. drrosedale.com. Find out about the diet. We'll have you again, Ron. See ya.
Follow Tom Martino at Real Tom Martino. At 630 KHOW. And on the iHeartRadio app.
Michael Brown,
People like disagree.